I have seen people change like weather.
That's true.
You know, in success and failure. So I don't take either very seriously. I'm not just an actor. I'm also a son. I'm also a brother. I'm also a father, a husband. All of us have so many layers. We are all so multi-layered as people ourselves. So sometimes you don't want to bring the character back home, but it just refuses to leave your side. I took back a lot from him. I took back not just cinema or filmmaking.
This is Nawaz Kochra joining you on Indian Express, and I am in conversation with the very amazing Vikrant Massey.
Hi Nawaz, hi.
Hello,
Thank you.
how are you?
Very well, how are you?
Amazing. You know, I have to say this, that you are on this, it feels like you are on this mission to entertain, impact and impress, film after film. Okay,
Wow.
12th Fail has happened. It's become a huge success. We all know about it. I want to firstly, understand that what was it that, probably convinced you, prompted you about the story that you decided to step into this particular character's skin?
Firstly, thank you so much. The adjectives that you've just used, I think they could be my life mantra. I'm definitely sharing this with my team. This could be our strategy. So thank you, Nawaz.
Absolutely.
Many things actually come into play, when you're signing a film. Firstly, it's what really sort of stands out at the initial first read is that, how interesting is it for me to play the part that I'm offered. But eventually, I think, having said that, it's an amalgamation of so many things coming together. I think what eventually is the driving force is the intent of the film.
Right.
So yes, I definitely want to entertain, impress, impact, but also educate.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, with Sector 36, it was the director, Aditya Nimbalkar, who's been a friend. I've known him for quite a while now. Bodha and Roy Chaudhary, I think Sector still remains as one of the best scripts I've read so far. He's truly a gifted writer, and this actually happens to be his first film as a writer.
Right.
Yeah, and but the larger idea was the intent
Right.
of the film as to what you want to say through this story, and what do you want to sort of say through the part that you're playing.
Absolutely. Also, one thing that I've always observed in the roles that you play is that they are all of them are very layered. Okay. They have this emotional baggage also with them in a way that, as a viewer, the character takes me along. Like, even for that matter, when I was watching these glimpses of Sector 36, my very first thought was, okay, he's some millionaire guy just chilling in a room. Then later on, when the phone call came, he was talking, it was like, acha, he's the caretaker having a gala time and the owner is not there. It is when you pick up the knife is when we come to know that,
Yes.
So those layers come out so well in every performance that you give. I want to know that when you play a character that is so much emotionally draining,
Yeah.
how difficult or easy, like I'm sure 20 years industry में हो चुके हैं आपको.
जी, जी.
Leaving it behind on set is easy, but sometimes does it also get difficult to not take the character home?
Yeah, I mean, wow, you put it so nicely. Yeah, it does. Sometimes it does get very difficult to not take the character home. Sometimes you have to take it back so that you can come back the next day and resume where you left off last.
Right.
But each day is different.
Okay.
So sometimes you don't want to bring the character back home, but it just refuses to leave your side. I mean, these are things which are attached with the nature of our job.
Correct.
And I very thoroughly recognize them also, primarily because I've done this for far too long. But having said that, in case of choosing characters that are layered, is because I don't like unidimensional characters. I don't think any of us are unidimensional. All of us have so many layers. We are all so multi-layered as people ourselves.
Absolutely.
There are so many facets to us. We are not just, I'm not just an actor. I'm also a son. I'm also a brother. I'm also a father, a husband. a friend to someone, someone's uncle. So there are so many things that I am in my life. How can I be unidimensional? You know, there are so many things that make me whole as one.
Absolutely. Right.
And hence the characters that I play. But also I realize that I am lucky to be acting in this time. The time I'm talking, say, for the last 10 years especially, is because there are far more real stories being written. There are far more real stories being watched by people. There has been a massive shift in the kind of content that we are making and consuming at the same time. So yeah, I'm really blessed to be a part of this time wherein there are meaningful, relevant stories being said, and I get to be a part of those stories. So yeah.
But also, you know, at the same time, do you sometimes also, does the thought cross your mind of facing any kind of a typecast in the kind of roles that come to you? Or have you ever been told by, you know, your team that, you know, Vikrant, log bore ho jayenge if you play similar roles?
I think it happens, of
Yeah.
course. You know, everyone goes through this. I have been seen as the guy next door, you know, the simple guy next door, you know, the innocent boy next door. But the idea as an actor is to strive for nobody to bracket you. And hence you choose a film like a 12th Fail and a Sector 36 in one calendar year.
Yes.
Is for you primarily to go out there and not get bored by the roles you're playing, and eventually, and most importantly, for the audiences to see you in a different light from time to time. So yeah, you strive for versatility, but you know, sometimes you land, sometimes you don't. I mean, yeah, it's a process which is always ongoing. You know, you're learning each day, you're moving along each day. So yeah.
Also, you know, हम सबका एक तरह से mechanism होता है to deal with failure. But what is the mechanism to deal with success? Like, what is your way of dealing with success?
I think my mechanism to deal with success and failure is the same.
Okay.
I don't take either very seriously. You know, if I have not succeeded in something, I definitely do ponder over it as to not repeat it again, or at least not wanting to repeat it with the same mistakes again. And the same applies for success also. You know, everything is so temporary in life. You know, I have seen people change like weather.
That's true.
You know, in success and failure. So I don't take either very seriously. I rejoice, or I probably ponder depending on what I'm feeling, but I move on very quickly. I don't sit with either for too long.
But things around you change drastically, you know,
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah,
a failure or a success.
Yeah.
How do you
But the
cope
same
with
things
that?
can change equally fast the moment you trip again and you are back to where you began.
Right.
So that's the nature of life.
Absolutely. With the success of 12th Fail, you know, what's changed? How has life changed? Has the validation from the industry come in?
Yeah, it has.
Okay.
And I was longing for it. I'll be very honest. I was longing for it because I always backed myself and I continue to back myself. But it was very important for me, or at least deep within me, I had this urge to be validated by more people. You know, to not just be labeled as an alternate actor.
Right.
12th Fail's commercial success was important for me. There are a lot more roles coming my way, many more producers wanting to work with me now. So I wanted that. Yeah, and I'm happy. But I also know, you know, I'm as I said, you know, I think I might be sounding really archaic right now, but I've seen life enough to understand that, you know, as I said, successes and failures are all very temporary. People change with time, and neither to take neither very seriously, or, you know, yeah, I mean, just the idea is to keep ambling forward towards what your larger desires are. And in my case, it is to be consistent with what I do as an actor, to entertain, to educate, inspire, and, you know, impact, yeah, the audiences through my work.
Also, you know, today in this day and age, in the current, you know, scenario of the industry, what is more important, talent or star power, according to you?
I think it's not just these two things. I think there are a lot of things that come into play. Filmmaking is a true collaborative effort. So to begin with, you need a good story, and you need someone like a Dinesh Vijan to back that story. To have the gumption to back that story. And then of course you need the right actors to portray those parts. You need the right editor, you need the right packaging, marketing. बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं. It's not just one thing. But if I have to pick and choose one, let's put it that way. I think you need the right intent.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have the right intent, I think it reaches people.
Absolutely. Also, how was it working with Vidhu Vinod Chopra? What was it that you learned from him or you took back from him?
I took back a lot of things, and not just about cinema or filmmaking. I took back a lot from him. I took back not just cinema or filmmaking from him. I took back a lot of valuable life lessons from him, which I hope to retain for as long as I can. He in the truest sense is my mentor.
Okay.
In a lot of ways, and he's given me a new lease of life. He has backed me when or probably he's seen me in a light nobody else did. So yeah, I owe a lot of what I have to him.
Absolutely. But how was the first meeting with him like?
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, and I think both of us, we gel really well. Our value system is the same. Our work ethic is the same. It was lovely meeting him, and he's this extremely flamboyant, larger than life, true blue filmmaker.
Absolutely.
So when I met him for the first time, I very clearly remember we were, in his study, in his farmhouse, and he gave me 12th Fails books, saying that this is the book you have to read, and read the book and tell me what you think about it. And the first thing he also told me is कि तू कितने साल का है? I said, sir, मैं 34 का हूँ. And he said कि तू 19 साल का कैसे लगेगा तू? तो I said, sir, मैं कोशिश कर सकता हूँ. And he's like, चल ठीक है, तू पहले किताब पढ़ के बता मुझे तेरे को किताब कैसे लगी. So he's a fearless man.
Wow.
And I hope I can be half as fearless as him.
Absolutely. Also, Vikrant, when you come from a syncretic upbringing, how does your outlook towards life change?
It shapes your life. It shapes your outlook towards life completely. When you are fortunate enough to have a syncretic upbringing, or people who are pretty progressive in the way they see life around them. I think that gives you a lot of freedom to make your own choices. It gives you a lot of freedom to choose what you want to do in life, and that, especially at a very younger age, shapes your character and personality. And I'm very, very fortunate to have been, born with that privilege in life.
Absolutely.
I come from a mega city like Bombay. To have the family that I have and to have made the friends that I did, I think it has really shaped me into the person that I am today.
Also, a successful actor, a doting father. How do you perceive life sitting here right now at this moment?
I just feel God is kind, people are kind. I've got much more than what I actually asked for. So I'm really grateful for what I have.
And has being a father changed your outlook towards the projects how you approach projects today and the kind of work you wish to do?
I mean, I would love to do a children's film someday because I know that cinema is a very, very powerful medium. I would want to go out there, and it's sad to say that in India we don't make as many children's films as other people do or other industries do. I'd love to do that, but am I going to change the way I'm picking my roles, or am I going to change the way I aspire to impact and educate the audiences? I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but my life outlook has changed. My worldview towards life has definitely changed in the last, not just since his birth, I think through the entire process of having him. Yeah.
Lastly, I want you to take this moment and write a little note to yourself saying, "Dear me,"
Okay.
And give yourself a message that you are doing very well. Everything is going to be fine. Like whatever you want to tell yourself at this very moment, but you have to start saying with "Dear me."
Okay. Thank you, Nawaz. This is so lovely. Yeah, I'd say, dear me, be fortunate for what you have, and yeah, and work harder to, dear me, don't be too disheartened, or don't be too, don't be on a cloud nine if the film does well or it doesn't do well. Just be kind to yourself, and I think that's very important for me right now.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, thank you so much.
Thank you, yaar.
For talking
You're
to us.
so
It is
kind.
always a pleasure.
Same here, Nawaz. Thank
And
you
I
so
wish
much,
you
brother.
all the very best.
Yeah.
You are a gem that Bollywood
Oh,
has, so
please.
keep shining.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. So kind.